here we are again. And today is is Monday, May 13th, 2024, the year of the goddess. You may as well get used to the year of the goddess because we've got another 13,000 of them ahead of us until the pole shifts again and we go into the God 13,000 years. This is around 26,000 years. The whole thing divided into two parts, from my understanding. And so we just completed 13,000 years of what some have termed patriarchy. And now we're going to go into 13,000 years, I guess you could call it matriarchy, or you could call it the time of the goddess, or the time of the divine feminine wrapping the earth. All of those seem really good to me. I'm not a big fan of the patriarchy, even though I'm in a male body. But my understanding is that we kind of switch back and forth. And so we can be in male bodies, next lifetime maybe we're in a female body, or maybe we have a few males in a row or a few females in a row. But there's something about the balance. And this is something I've heard. I do have memories of past lives as a man in a man body or in a woman body. But all of my memories of past lives are primarily where traumas happened. So if we have a traumatic life and we don't integrate it and release the energy of it, then that life follows us into the next life and may lead into things like falling off a shed roof onto one's head and breaking one's neck, having to play, physical responder, wrap oneself up in a neck brace, otherwise called a towel. And that's the cat out there chatting it up. So we could let her in. So I'll be right back. You just stay right there. I do consider it mildly dangerous to have her in the room when I'm doing the videos because, I've got two kind of thick pillows stacked on top of each other with the computer sitting on top of those two pillows and the light fixture up to my left side, which I can show you. There it is. That's the light fixture. That's the cat heading towards the light fixture, going underneath the light fixture. So if you see this waviness in the light, that's because she's altering the light currently. And obviously, she has the ability to take my attention, or has the ability to get me to give her my attention. Because if I don't give her my attention, then I can be more focused on what I'm doing. But she may escalate the process until I do give her attention, which means that things could begin falling off shelves. Like there's one of those things, ghosts, that there's a name for them. Those things that knock things off shelves. They, I don't know. There's some things I just don't remember because there's no reason to remember. But they might be called sprites or whatever. Yesterday, when I had a very eventful day. There's a little, I don't know. Yeah, there. I don't really see that it's affecting the light here, but the light thing was like doing this as she walked underneath it and took her tail across the camera. Yesterday was a very eventful day. I don't very often, maybe a few times a year, go to the mainland, which on the island that I live on, some of us call going to America, as we see ourselves as, separate from the rest of the world. We're just this island that's just doing its thing. But I went to America. I had been invited there by a friend of mine who has a friend. I didn't know what age is. I knew my friend, what his age was, but I didn't know the friend of his friend, whose name was Micah, who is a subscriber now, so may be watching this video at some point. But Micah is a disc golfer or a frisbee golfer. There are frisbee golf courses, for those of you who don't know. We're completely out of the loop of the important things in life, like frisbee golf, which is basically walking in the woods throwing objects, which some people like to do. Me, I'm one of them. Okay, so I went over, and I'm just noting the time. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, which I just like that period of time in the day when it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I took the early shuttle. I was going to take the 8:30 shuttle. Gets me over there around 9 o'clock. It's about a 25-minute drive down to this disc golf course. And I ended up getting on the 8 o'clock, so I ended up being down there an hour early. So I ended up deciding to walk the course, but I met this, maybe 40-year-old frisbee golfer, disc golfer, and asked him if I could follow him around the course, possibly throw with him, because I hadn't played the course before and I was wanting to get to know it. So I did that. And he turned out to have lived in the area. He had lived in Portland and now in the Seattle area for most of his life, mostly Portland. But he had gone to school at Caltech in Pasadena. And so we shared some South Pasadena vibes. And I had a lovely time. He and I were comparable players. We both enjoyed playing with each other. Both of us were good enough that we weren't throwing in the swamp at all, for the most part, which was really nice. And then my friends showed up later, and then we played, Jim and Micah, and we played, and afterwards we had a really good conversation. And I got in my car, drove the half hour up to the ferry, and decided, because I don't find there's any places on the island where I can go and eat and feel good about it, not very much. So I decided to go to this little Mexican restaurant that I knew of that was on the way to the ferry, sat down, ordered some food, and got a text message of a client who was in a crisis. And this had been an ongoing crisis over the last week, and I've been helping with it. So I texted back and said, I had just sat down to eat, that I was going to eat, and then I was going to go get in the ferry line, and I would call, but I'd set up the field right away, which I did. So I set up the field, and the energies were just so kind of chaotic that I felt like I ate just a little bit of food, and I thought, this isn't a good idea, so I got it to go, and I left, and I went to the ferry, and I just sat in the ferry line, and I missed the first ferry because there was a lot of people going over to the island for Mother's Day. So I got to sit in the parking lot and work with these energetics with this favorite person of mine. And it was, when you think about it, and let's say I started working with these energetics at 3 o'clock, and I felt like this morning around 7 o'clock, the energetics cleared. So that's 20 hours. This 7, 3 o'clock, 16 hours of working with these energetics. And they were cleared, like the field I had set up, the energies of the event had cleared in the field. I had been able to do all the work at the end of a healing session that you can go read about, and I do all that, but I continued to help with the work of the integration of the changes that take place from these big events getting cleared. And sometimes, some days, like I'm noticing today, I'm not not lightening things up as I often do when I'm sitting in this corner. So this corner, this particular triangle that I sit in this corner, just barely out of the closet, is a very significant place. One of the I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations that I do these videos from, and this one produces some really useful videos for me, and then I guess possibly for you as well. And now I have to pause and get the kitty out. So I'll be back, but it seems like she would like to go outside. And so we'll see. Okay, kitty, come in. Out. You can't get up there. So you can go out. I would go out, or you can go out of the room. Okay. Yeah. But I just can't do that. So you could have gone outside, but you could just be in there. Okay, well, she was like raising the stakes, and so it made me aware that it was time for the kitty spa, and so she's retired to the kitty spa. Okay, the last little bit that I wanted to mention, I don't see this getting posted, but the last little bit I wanted to mention was that after that day and into the evening, and I was still working these really intense energies with a client. And I don't very often, but I would say that I do from time to time feel like my work is hard work. Not very often. I mean, 2020, 2021, up to 2022 in the fall. Yeah, so 2.5 years. 2020, 21, 22 in the fall. So 2.5 years seemed really intense. But in the last part of 2022 and the first 6 months of 2023 seemed a lot easier. And then since August of 2023 till now, which is 9 months, has seemed a lot harder. And these videos have been super helpful to me because I feel like this is a means of my helpers in the higher realm to speak to me, directly about certain things that they've been attempting to teach me in the dream world where I attend night school. So I just understand a little bit about dreams. I understand that we make up these realities in the dream world that are maybe comforting to us, like maybe going to school was comforting. It's I know I'm going to go every night. I go to school every night. They teach me things. I remember some of them. I forget others, parts of it. But a lot of what I've been being taught in night school is, first of all, do not trust my mind, especially when I'm triggered. So when we get triggered, it means we have something occur that causes unresolved emotions, feelings of the past to rise up. And then there's a protective part of us that attempts to keep our conscious awareness from this energy of the triggering, tries to keep it separate. And that part oftentimes gets very aggressive and very expressive and, tries to scare the person that triggered them or dump some stuff on the person that triggered them, which is the person that triggered them is like, what the hell? What did I do? You did whatever it was that needed to be done to trigger the person. You might have looked at them the wrong way, and that might have been enough. Like there's somebody out there that I'm looking at them the wrong way, and they're going like, I knew it was you. I knew it was you that was causing all these feelings. I've been looking for you my whole life so I could say, you are blah, blah, blah. And you go, wow, where'd that come from? And it could have come from another lifetime. And if you don't take it personally, and if you don't assume that you know what the other person is talking about, you might have an intuition, you might not. If you don't make up a whole story about their story and you stay present to the best of your ability when it may feel like you're being attacked, so you might want to step outside of yourself, your mind, because when somebody's triggered and they kind of attack and we get triggered and then we want to attack back and this stuff starts going between ourselves and the other person, neither of us knowing what it's about. Because if we knew what it was about, we would deal with it, be done with it, and come back to the present moment. We would deal with it in the present moment, even though it's past in the present moment, but it may possibly be that past, present, and future are all occurring now. Nothing ever occurs except now. So now is possibly occurring everywhere in all dimensions, everywhere. It's now. And so if you consider that you're traveling back to a past event, you are actually traveling to that past event now. You may not even be going anywhere, or you may imagine you're going somewhere. And if you imagine you're going somewhere, you might be going somewhere. Do you understand the subtlety of all of this? And for whatever reason, while I've been making this video, which I felt like I just want to just download a little bit of information, I felt that pressure to express. So I wanted to express a bit of information so that I could watch it later and hear what they are saying to me. Because sometimes they'll say it to me directly, I get it directly. But sometimes they just need to repeat something enough times for me to watch it and go, oh, that's what they've been talking about the last 13 years. I get it. I actually get it. So I was going to mention that I had been feeling really good since I'm going to say around 10 o'clock, when I did a little bit of energy release on my Atlas occiput area, got that area to let go, and then took a cleansing bath in some Epsom salts for a few reasons that I need not go into. So after that, then I got dressed, cleaned some things up a little bit, put on some clothes, and sat down in front of the computer with a feeling like there was something that needed to be said. And I feel like I've said it. Now I have my books, I have my Mayan calendar, I have my tarot cards. It's 12:49 currently, and I have a session that I'll be doing at 1 o'clock. So in 11 minutes, I'll be doing a session. And maybe part of this is getting ready for that session. So here's what I'm going to say. I think this was rather long. I'll be able to check. Yeah, this is 21 minutes, so it would probably take a long time to upload, if it was even worthwhile. I think I will upload it and watch it later, and we're going to call this a healing session. So the last thing I'm going to do, and then I'll keep it to maybe 25 minutes, is I'm going to choose to set up a healing field for, and then you state your name. So I choose to set up a healing field for Steve and another. And I ask the Brotherhood of Light, please be present. The Deva of Healing, please be present. Pan of Nature, please be present. The Sisterhood of Light, please be present. All of our helpers and guides, please be present. Saint Germain, please be present. Metatron, please be present. Kuan Yin, please be present. Master Mo, please be present. Master Kun Li, please be present. Christ Consciousness, please be present. The Holders of Space, please be present. Sanat Kamara, please be present. Abrahamanad, please be present. Alcazar, please be present. The Interdimensional Being, please be present. Thoth, please be present. Ra, please be present. The Deep Self, please be present. And you might want to, okay, I'll do that in a moment. Deep Self, please be present. Higher Self, please be present. Our soul group, please be present. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, release and integrate this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to this event and release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. I ask that all those souls be placed in a field of protection while they do their work relative to this event. And upon our arrival at this event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of this event gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. So, pretty much, if you allow yourself to just go back to this event on a soul level, without your conscious awareness traveling to this event. So let's just keep your conscious awareness somewhat with me for a moment and understand that if you go back to this event on a soul level, you will feel the process going on in yourself. So you'll feel some changes. You'll feel some things, tension patterns release. You'll feel energy start to move. You may feel emotions come up to some degree. You may feel like muscles release and stretch out. You can feel a lot of things happen when you participate in one of these healing fields. And you may feel nothing happen, which is okay too. Now, here's what you want to do. You definitely want to stay present in your physical body and observe the changes that take place and let your soul do the work that it needs to do back at the event. It is possible, and some of you are just going to want to do this, and I say have at it, have the experience of this. Some of you are going to want to consciously travel back to this event with your soul and really get a ringside seat on this event and maybe see images and maybe feel the intensity of the feelings. You'll still be clearing it in present time. And you would be clearing it in present time anyway if you didn't go back to the event. So the last thing I'm going to say is, when I went into the Mexican restaurant yesterday to have a bite to eat, in the background they had a rodeo going on. And they had bull riding. This is something that I could have turned around and sat facing the other direction, sat facing the road. And I recognized that I could just once in a while notice what was going on in terms of these bull riders and notice the danger of that sport, whatever you want to call it, and realize that I could stay in an observer mode and not imagine that smashing and crashing and not be too lost in the trauma of the whole thing by observing it. So I would like to teach you what my guides have taught me, which is to heal things by observing them and not getting overly energetically involved in the process of release. Because it's just energies that are stuck, that are freeing up. And when they free up, if we feel some discomfort, we go, oh, feeling some discomfort. And that's all we need to do. And just keep letting the energies go. Because eventually they'll resolve themselves without us doing anything other than letting go. And if you need to at times, just say, I choose to let this go. So my parting words are going to be that yesterday afternoon, in the midst of this really intense energy release that I was working on with a client, I ended up watching two of my videos. One, I think, was entitled Setting Up the Healing Field, or How Healing Works, or maybe that was two different ones that I watched. But I watched them. If you want to know the exact ones I was watching, I think I did it right, but I'm not sure. I think I made a playlist, my first playlist. I don't know how that works, so I'll see if it came out. But I think I made a playlist of that video that I watched that I found so useful for myself personally while I was in the midst of a healing process with another. It really explained a lot to me. And so you might think it's funny that these videos are explaining a lot to me and I'm making the videos, but this is the way it works, as far as I can tell. I have beings that I've worked with since I was a child who have explained things to me, encouraged me, given me time frames like this will be complete in 7 years. And I'm like, and I was 11. I was thinking like 7 years seems like a long period of time to be in this state. But they told me that within 7 years that would clear, which it did. My older brothers moved out of the house and my life got a lot better. As far as I can tell, and I'm just being honest with you because that's what I'm interested in doing, just being impeccable with my word. When I sometimes say this was a lot of work, it's because this has been, for me, in this lifetime, a lot of work. And I'm getting better at it, and I'm spending less time feeling exhausted and feeling like overwrought and wrung out, because I feel like the only way to save the world is to feel like a superhero on caffeine who just can go to the limits, unless they get hit by kryptonite or whatever. But anyway, I don't think it's necessary. I feel like there's big changes taking place. I feel like there's lots of us doing this. I don't feel like any of us needs to be particularly a superhero. I think each of us needs to learn to take care of this physical form we get to live in to the best of our abilities and do what we can while staying connected to our deep self. So I connect to my deep self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I let go of anything not useful to me now. And if you choose, I choose to work with the Hathors, knowing that if you choose to work with the Hathors, they will help you every moment of your life, unless their help feels like it's too disturbing, you're having to let go of too much, and you can go, okay, I choose not to work with the Hathors. And then later on you can go, oh, I choose to work with the Hathors. So I choose not to work with the Hathors. Anytime you say that, I choose to work with them or I choose not to work with them, these are beings of absolute respect for your wishes and choices. But if you give them carte blanche, if you give them your debit card, your karma debit card, and say, just do what you can, they will do what they can. And they'll do it to the best of your ability. I mean, their abilities are much higher, but they know what happens to you in the healing process. And what happens to you in the healing process is you change, and you have to integrate that change. And you can wear little helmets if you want, little triangular helmets, and you can say you're part of a super sauce secret survey serendipitous moment of psychoanalysis, whatever. You can have a secret club and everything with special pointy hats, and you can have moose ears if you wanted, or moose horns, whatever you want, you can do it. There's the comedy. I'm already feeling better, and the comedy's returning. All right, so I think it's probably 30 minutes now, or 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay, now let's go for sure. Bye.